Hey, Mortgage Coach community, Dave Savage here, and today I am interviewing Nicole Solari again. Nicole, welcome to the Mortgage Coach community.
Thank you.
Well, your past interviews have been very well received. For anyone that has not heard an interview with Nicole in Mortgage Coach land, go below. I did a full top producer realtor interview. After that call, her open house strategy was like so money. I interviewed her around her open house strategy. Bill Hart's interviewed her. They're all below. And by the way, while there's some duplicative content, I mean, it's each video is pretty stands on its own. It was a valuable educational experience. But Nicole, here's what I like to do today. We've had so much feedback from our community of loan officers that love it. A lot of it is centered around them taking your ideas and strategies and sharing them with other realtors. So one, we've got some questions that came into our Facebook group I want to make sure we hit. But what I really want to do is I want to do this interview so that literally it's something that a mortgage coach loan officer can forward to their realtors and even watch together. So it's like, okay, let's go do an open house and let's follow the Nicole Solari playbook. Is that cool?
For sure. Yeah.
So just because there might be someone watching this as the first Nicole video, if you could tell everybody what market you're in and tell them a little bit about your production so they understand just how valuable this open house strategy is.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am in Northern California in the Napa market, so Napa and Solano respectively. And I've been doing this almost 4 years now. So my first 3 years, I had an amazing trajectory of business growth. I started out first year in, just had a baby, got my license in April, really started production in June. Did a few transactions and then literally have doubled my business to the point where this year I'm going to close close to 200 units, hopefully a little over 200 units. We've got some doozy escrows right now, but being in December, we're hoping those will close. And that's 4 years in. And the platform that I used being a new agent and being new to my market, not knowing a single soul in my market, and coming from a very, very different world, I leveraged open houses to really build my business. And with talking to my peers and talking to my team members, not just in my market, but around the United States and even in Canada, anybody can do this. Anybody can do what I did in 4 years. And all they have to do is just keep it simple and do open houses.
Yeah. So I think it's probably the best open house platform, strategy, and process I've heard. I have not heard of this level of success being driven from someone that was new to a market with open houses. So let's unpack this a little bit, and I'll make sure all these questions. So if you're watching this and you posted questions on Facebook, we're going to get to them. But let's just start with, and again, lender is partner, mortgage coach. So they've got the mortgage coach total cost analysis as a resource. Walk us through, the planning before the open house. What should the loan officer and the lender be talking about? How long should they start? Is it like, can they just start talking the day before the open house? Or is there a 1 or 2 week playbook? So let's just start with what's the playbook leading up to it? What's the realtor doing? What's the loan officer doing? And then we'll get into the actual execution to get leads. And then we'll close out with the follow-up strategy.
Absolutely. So I have two approaches to open houses. It's the fly by the seat of your pants approach, where it's a Tuesday afternoon and you're sitting around and you've done all your calls and you don't have any showings, you don't have buyers in your car. You need to go do an open house. Find an empty vacant home, put open house signs out, post it in the MLS, and just get your butt there, right? Because you never know who's going to be driving by, seeing your signs, and pop by. So that's the fly by the seat of your pants version. However, when we're being really strategic about what we're doing, we really want to be driving as much traffic as possible, because the last thing that you want is to put all your open house signs out, have your lender bring a giveaway, and sit there for 4 hours and one person comes in and they have a realtor. So around that strategy, there's a lot that goes into it. It's Facebook marketing, it's door knocking, it's putting out a ton of open house signs, more than you think that you need. I started out doing just 6 open houses. There were open houses where I put out 20 open house signs with not just the directionals, but mega flags. And especially when they're off of a main drag or a main freeway, you want to put as much signage as possible. And then the build up, right? Like, why are people going to come to your open house when they're interested in 12 homes, but they know they can only come to 5? What are you doing to drive that traffic? And it's going to be one of two things. It's going to be something that they want to find out that they can't see online. And that's usually with a video teaser or a tour or an Instagram and Facebook post that you're going to do. And you're going to boost that post. And it costs anywhere between $5 and $10 to boost that post. And obviously, even though it's $5 or $10, you know, the lenders can share in that cost, whatever is, you know, RESPA appropriate for that particular lender, but they can share in the cost of the boost, and then they can also share in the cost of the giveaway. So you're going to tease the people who either want to find out more about the home, or the people like me, I love free stuff. So, you know, I go to Costco just to eat lunch. I'm all about the samples. So I love the free stuff. So if I hear that, you know, I can go to 10 open houses, but one's giving away a super exciting prize, I'm probably just going to at least pop by and drop my business card, fill out a contact form to get that prize. So a lot of planning that goes into it when you're doing strategic open houses as well.
Okay, so let me make sure they get that now. So per open house, you're not doing more than $10 to boost any one open house for the most part.
For the most part, yeah.
But you are boosting. If you're doing a well planned out strategic open house, you are boosting a post.
For sure. And I'm doing it twofold. I'm doing it on my personal account, which you can't boost. But a little trick that I just learned from my good friend, she has been able to hack Facebook's algorithm. So everybody writes it down. It's amazing. And it works because I tested it just last night, actually. If you comment on 12 posts before you post your open house on your personal page, Facebook will not limit the number of users, because typically you will only get about 10 to 15% of users that are going to see your Facebook post. But if you do 12 comments before you post, they open that up. So all you have to do is go on your buddy's Facebook post and say, yay, that looks super cool, awesome, good for you, whatever it is, 12 times, then post it, and Facebook doesn't suppress your post. It's like magic. Like my 2018 tip of the year. Not even joking.
Well, they'll probably shut it down before we get through the year if this is legit. So, by the way, Mortgage Coach community, you're watching this in YouTube, watching it in Facebook. Let us know if this is working. I want to hear about that. Love it. So we love stuff like that here in Mortgage Coach land. So you're doing live, maximum signs, a gift. By the way, check with your compliance department. Every lender, you've got a compliance department. Make sure you check with them. If you're partnering with agents and money's exchanging hands, make sure that's super compliant with your team. Okay, so now we got a lot of people coming to the open house. What are you doing to get leads so that the people that come through, they're signing in? What are they signing in? How are you doing it? And let's get some scripts out of that.
Yeah, so it's all about the connection, and then it's about the follow-up. So when they're there, a lot of times when you go into an open house, and I've done it as a pretend consumer as well, I've tested my peers in different markets, and I go in and you feel very overwhelmed when the agent greets you, like, please sign in, make sure you put your real phone number, who are you, what are you looking for? It's got to be casual. You've got to connect with them, and you've got to let them feel comfortable and confident in you. So you've got to be competent in the information that you're sharing, and then you've got to get them to give you information. And the way that we do that is by leveraging technology. So we have an open house sign-in sheet that's on an iPad or a computer, and that feeds directly into our CRM. So we don't have open house flyers. All we have is a virtual flyer. So in order for them to even get a flyer, that's one of the first things that people ask for. Hey, do you have a flyer or more information about this house? Yes, absolutely. Go ahead and sign in. And as soon as you sign in, we'll email you or text you a copy of the virtual flyer. We're trying to be paperless.
So time out. I want to make sure I get this. So what technology are you using? What CRM and what point of sale system are you using?
So we currently use Commissions Inc. But there's tons out there. I mean, we just happen to use Commissions Inc. Honestly, I think it's one of those things where it's all a bunch of the same. We use Commissions Inc. and they have a open house app that you can use. Boomtown has the same thing. I believe now 5 Street has the same thing. I mean, there's tons of them out there. And even if you're not using a CRM, let's say that you're Your CRM is an Excel spreadsheet. There's free open house apps out there. Just go into the App Store, Google whatever store, and put in open house, and there's a ton that come up. I think before I had Commissions Inc., I was paying $1.99 for a free one, and it worked just as well.
Okay, so folks, I do want to know what you're using. So capture at the point of sale with an app experience on an iPad, and you're not having paper. So that's interesting. So by design, that's part of how you're getting more leads. And then if you could, remember you're talking to the mortgage coach community. Jeremy Forcier is the one that you brought you in. We want to make sure that we're also getting leadership to like, what's the realtor doing? What's the loan officer doing? How are we showcasing the total cost analysis, in your open house experience? So if you could speak to what's the loan officer, what's the realtor doing, if they're working it together, or if the loan officer just helped them by providing a total cost analysis.
Yeah. It's more about building that rapport and that relationship. When a consumer walks into your open house, they don't care who you are. They don't care if you're a realtor. They don't care if you're a lender. And they really don't care if you're the owner of the house. They just want to see the house if they're a serious buyer or a looky-loo. So my thing is I just, let them walk around. And then after I go for the close, I also say, okay, I'm your realtor. I'm going to help you buy this house. And this guy's going to pay for it. And so it's more of like a soft handoff. So here's Jeremy. Jeremy's here. He's going to help you. He's actually got some information right now where you can actually see what you would pay for this home on a monthly basis. Because I don't know about you, but I own a home. I've got 3 kids. I don't care how much the house costs. I care how much I'm writing a check for each month. So Jeremy's going to be able to answer those questions for you.
Love.
And also there's some tax he can go over with you. And I'm like, I don't know numbers. I was like, I was really good at geometry, not algebra. So Jeremy's your guy.
Love it. Love it. So by the way, there's a script for everybody on how she handles it. I want you to talk a little bit more about how you connect, because in the last interview you did this, but I think it's so important that people, hear your approach. They come in, you have that script to get them to sign in, but, talk about how you connect with the family before you go in for the close.
Yeah, people are going to work with you because they like you and they trust you. And it's all about having the knowledge and being able to build that rapport. So I'm not the stalker agent, and I'm not going to be like, use me, come play with me in my sandbox. It's, hey, I am really good at what I do. And if you really want to get the best deal possible, you're going to work with me. And here's why. And oh, by the way, where do your kids go to school? What are you doing? What brought you in today? Do you have a home to sell? Going through back to basics, your Ford technique, the family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. Like, we're sitting here and we're going through a script all over again. It's the same thing as phone prospecting. I mean, it's super basic. Make them feel like you're interested in them and truly be interested, because I'm at the point in my career, and everyone out there should be at the point in their career. I have a 0 asshole policy. So I don't want to work with people who are not friendly and not funny and not great to work with. So you do want to get to know these people before you start working with them, to know if you actually want to work with them, not the other way around.
I love that. And by the way, a lot of what I heard you say when I interviewed Jeremy around how he uses Mortgage Coach with realtor meetings, it was, ask great questions, really listen, really connect. And then when he pulls Mortgage Coach out, it's like, oh, you said communication is important to you. Let me show you how I communicate with your buyers. You said conversion is important to you. Let me show you how I educate and create clarity, confidence, and urgency with families. It's not about the tech. It's because you asked great questions, you connected. The tech helps facilitate that.
Totally. Connect the dots. Absolutely.
Yeah. So by the way, if anybody has not heard that, although it's been watched over 5,000 times, the Jeremy Forcier 5 questions that he asked realtors, I'm going to put that link below. He used that to help win the business of Nicole. So,
but guys, I get, 3 or 4 lenders a day asking me to meet, and it's always the same thing. What do you look for in a lender? What do you look for?
So they're using Jeremy's scripts on you probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I want to make sure we got all the questions from Facebook. One of them right here is how to effectively follow up with people who walked through during the open house. So walk us through your follow-up process.
Absolutely. So obviously before they leave, I say, hey, by the way, what are you looking for? What else are you going out today and doing? And so I kind of know their story. And as soon as they leave, I scribble my notes down so that I can follow up with them. The biggest mistakes that I know that realtors make, because my team members make them as well, is they wait too long to follow up. The second that open house is done, I'm not shutting up off lights and hopping in my car and hoping there's no traffic to the closest brew pub. I'm sitting at the open house, connecting to Wi-Fi and sending my follow-up emails because it's still fresh in their head.
I
So
like it.
sending that follow-up email immediately. Hey Dave, super nice to meet you and your family, and I understand that schools are very important to you. I've included a link to the local elementary and middle school. Here's the ratings, here's what's going on, and you make it very personal. So I've got a stock email that I use, but then I personalize that email based on what I know. And honestly, if I wait until the next day to send that email, a lot of those people start to jumble together. So it's not as personal. I can't remember the idiosyncrasies of what they said about their family, about their situation. So I'm immediately sending that email out, and then I include, and I change it up a little bit, but I usually include some kind of marketing material with my face on it that says, 10 deadly mistakes that buyers make, when searching for a home, or 25 questions to ask a realtor before you work with them. And it's super simple stuff, but things that I know that if they ask another realtor those questions, they're going to go, and they're going to want me because I've got the answers. You want to know I have the answers because I created the question. So of course I have the answer.
I love it. I love it. So super fast follow up. How many times will you follow up before you're like, all right, it wasn't a fit and you let it go? Like, and what's the rhythm from first email, second? Is it like a 2 week, I'm on it and then I give up? What is your, just call it bigger follow up approach in touch points?
I kind of categorize them into A, B, and C. And if they're A, I'm going to call them after the open house, not only email them, but call them a little bit later in the evening and say, it was really great to meet you guys. I'm so excited. It's the assumptive close, right? I'm so excited to be your realtor and to work with you. When are you free to go out and look at other homes? Or did you want to revisit the home that we saw today where we met? So it's just very assumptive, right? If they're super hot and it's that day. And if they're really hot, even if they have another realtor, or if they're, on the fence about buying, or they have a credit issue, or whatever the objection is, if they're ready, willing, and able to buy, I'm all over them like white on rice, like every single day, call, texting, and emailing. And a lot of people say, God, but isn't that annoying? And I'm like, yeah, it is, but how much is being annoying worth to you? Because for me, to get a $15,000 commission, being annoying is totally worth it, because it's being annoying until they get converted, because they're going to other open houses and they're not going to remember that realtor that sent them that one follow-up email, but they're going to remember me because I call, text, and email them every day for 8 days until they're like, okay, we're ready to go out.
So by the way, did you guys hear that? Call, text, email, multi-channels. And I'll bet you're hitting them on Facebook too, if they're active on Facebook. So super.
Not just stalker.
Yes. The first follows up within hours, and then multi-channel hit hard for 8 days. And if they're a B or C, let's just give us a high level on that.
Yeah, so if they're a B or a C, I'll definitely email them immediately after. Depending on their situation, I may call them that day, but I'll absolutely add them into the database with a follow-up call for my calls. I prospect 2 hours a day, every single day. So I'll definitely be calling them that next week, whether it's Monday or Tuesday the following, week. But I'm going to hit them up on the phone. And I'm going to say, hey, okay, it was really nice to meet you guys. What are you looking for? And depending on how that phone conversation goes, I'll categorize them again into like A1, A2, A3, B1, B2, B3, whatever category they fall into, to make sure that I'm following up with them effectively. And for all of the A's, B's, and C's and all of the A, B, and C subcategories, I have a complete follow-up system where it's a high-touch or low-touch campaign.
Love it. And then someone asked, are you using any systems other than commission syncs, Facebook ads, Messenger, landing pages? Anything else come to mind that you're doing besides those?
I'm big on door knocking. I knock if I can't do it before an open house, which everybody does before an open house, but guys, you can knock after an open house. It's totally okay. The neighbors don't care if you knock before or after. They're still going to be irritated with you. So get out there and door knock. I love farming, geographic farming. In fact, I had an agent tell me it was like, I think 2 years ago, they said, oh, geographic farming doesn't work. I said, oh, do you want to bet on it? And they told me that I could not get into $1 million neighborhood, where the entry point was $1 million. So I said, okay, I'm going to farm that neighborhood. 90 days later, I had 3 listings in that neighborhood. So geographic farming absolutely works as long as you're strategic and consistent about it. I think the key with anything is it's not what you're doing, it's that you're doing it at a very high level and you're doing it consistently. I mean, you could do anything that you want. I mean, you could make mailers your thing. You can make Facebook your thing. You can make farming your thing, open house your thing. But what you're doing is you can't just spread it all out like a piece of jam on a toast. You got to be super strategic and you've got to do that consistently. Otherwise, you're just spreading yourself thin and you're throwing spaghetti at the wall hoping something's going to stick.
Love it. So much wisdom, so much good advice here. How many leads are you getting on average out of open houses? And give us a sense of what your conversion is. Someone walks in, you get contact information, conversion, you turn it into a lead, and then how many homes are you selling because of open houses? If you could just walk us through your numbers.
Yeah. So I've moved into more of a leadership role right now. I think we kind of talked about this before the interview. So I'm not doing a ton of open houses, but I did this weekend and it was so much fun. I missed it. It was like crack for me. I was like, this is so great. Give me more. So I did an open house Saturday and Sunday and we had a total of 12 people come through. I've got 2 listings and 3 A buyers. So of that 12 people that came through, we converted 5 people. And again, I handed those leads off to my team member that hosted the open house. But we got $1 million listing. We sold the house with the buyer that we're representing. And then we got another listing and we got 2 other fully qualified buyers and 1 other buyer that's in the pipeline. So, I mean, it works. It's not magic.
Okay, but time out. That's epic. I mean, that's home run open house. By the way, what percentage of them did you go? They came in and you got their contact information. What percent?
Absolutely.
Okay. So let's just say top of the mountain. Now you're in a leadership role, so you kind of know what you did. And again, you're a Hall of Fame player, and you have folks that are different levels. What's kind of a minimum expectation for not such a great open house? What's the minimum number of, like 50%? Is it like there's just no excuse not to get 50%?
There's no excuse not to get anyone's contact information. In fact, during the open house, and you realtors out there know what I'm talking about, it's a 4-hour open house. The first hour, you're like, nobody's going to show up. This sucks. And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh my God, we're so busy. And then it's like, where did everybody go? So during that, oh my God, we're so busy, like spurt, because it seems like everybody comes at once. I was so busy. My partner was really busy. We didn't have a lender there with us to crowd control. Someone left without getting contact information, and I had talked to them, and they had a home to sell. And I looked at my partner and said, did you get their contact information? And she said, no, did you? And I said, no. I literally was like doing the Scooby-Doo, like running out into the driveway, like, hey, Sean, you didn't sign in. And they were literally halfway out of the driveway in reverse, and I'm like knocking on their window. You guys didn't sign in. Like, there's no excuse to not get their information. Not like,
wow, you are intense. So by the way, I hope lenders, loan officers are on this. You're picking this up. I mean, how intense Nicole is about getting great conversations with people, about getting their contact information, how passionate she is, how great she is at working with you. So first of all, I think this has been fantastic. I don't want to fire hose people. We're 23 minutes into it. If you got value from this, share it. If you're a loan officer, share it with a realtor that you want to partner with. Like it. Let Nicole know that, hey, I checked it out. Good interview. We liked it. So give us a like, give us a share. And then, Nicole is super cool. I think you'll come back and do another interview for Mortgage Coach in January. You game for that, Nicole? I was pretty assumptive. I did a Nicole close on you. And so, yeah. And then remember, Mortgage Coach members, make sure that realtors know how great you are, that you're going to create urgency and clarity for all their buyers with a total cost analysis. Great agents expect that from their loan officer, and make sure that you're intentional about having the right open house experience on a digital. I'm not at the point where I'm just going to say no flyers, although I like that. And I think if the agent can pull it off and you can pull it off, you're going to get more leads by going with a pure digital open house. But I haven't heard enough agents and loan officers doing that. So I would like to know if you're going pure digital experience, let me know. But my guess is that's how you get all the leads, right, Nicole?
Absolutely. And it's tough and it's uncomfortable to tell somebody, oh no, we're paperless. We don't have flyers when they just went to 6 other open houses and they have this stack of flyers, which by the way, they never bring their other flyers in. They're in the back seat of their car that sits there for like 6 weeks till the car cleaner cleans them out. But it's really uncomfortable to say, no, sorry, we're paperless. You have to sign in to get a flyer. It's uncomfortable for the first couple times until it just becomes normal to you. Then it's no longer uncomfortable. Then it's almost, wait, there's other agents out there handing out flyers. Why are they using paper?
Yeah. Hey, Nicole, to ask, would you mind sending one of your follow-up emails just or post it on Facebook? So in our group, either give it to me and I'll post it or you post it. And then also, I'd love to get a picture of where you're hosting, the sign-in app, the mortgage coach app. Sometime in the next month, would you mind getting a picture so we can just get a sense for
Oh,
what
for
it's
sure.
like to be at
Actually,
mission control?
let me see if I have one right here, and then I can share it with you guys. But I was laughing because I'm new to this Instagram thing, and it took me 30 minutes to post an Instagram picture. But here we go. Here is the setup.
Oh, bam. All right, cool.
So
Well,
we got our iPad and everything. So I'll share that with you guys.
okay, share that in the Mortgage Coach productivity group. So, super grateful. Have an awesome holiday. Thank you for all the value you bring to the Mortgage Coach community. It's good catching up with you.
All right, sounds good. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to you. Take care.